Good morning, students.
Good
Morning,
morning,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, good morning. So in the last class, I think on Friday evening, sir had a meeting with all of us and then asked for some kind of revision that you all wanted. So I think I saw the topics that you all have given. One or two classes I think we have already done on functional dependencies and ER diagram and those steps to what to say steps of converting the ER diagram to relational model. This part of it we have finished. So and then beyond that, when I saw the list that you people have asked me, it is on normalization, and one of you have asked the second exercise of lab to be repeated. Well, lab will take it up on Thursday in the lab slot as usual. Now, only two of you have asked for the concept on normalization. What do I feel is now normalization is not included for your third internals anyway now. So I thought closer to not included in your first internals next week. It is only till relational model. So is that okay if I continue, start off with the third module now and then closer to the second internal, I will do a revision on normalization and further topics also. Should that be fine? Can anyone tell me, confirm that to me?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So only I think I have received only three entries in that Google form share. One is on lab, I think by Mohit. That will be done on Thursday. Mohit, I will take it up on Thursday. And the other two have asked regarding normalization. So since it's on normalization, which is not for first internal now, I thought we'll go ahead with the third module from today. Closer to the second internal, whenever it is scheduled, I will do the revision of whatever syllabus we are going to cover for um, second internals. Now, I think apart from that, whatever you asked for, I have covered in the last week. Is there any other topic that you want me to address with respect to first internals? You can let me know. Dakshayani, should that be okay? Whatever I told till now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We can do it when second entrance come.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Because even
Okay.
if I do, you will not be probably in the next 1 week concentrating on that because it's not included in the portions of first internal. So I don't see any point in doing it right away. Whatever doubts are there, I'll take it up closer to the second internals. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and regarding the notes, students, up to relational model, I have already shared. I mean, whatever is there for your internals, I have already shared it with you all well in advance. The normalization part, which we finished last week, that is the only notes that is pending. Maybe today or tomorrow, I'm working on it, so I'll be giving it to you all by today or tomorrow. Along with that, I'll also give you the complete question bank of second module. Only when I finish a module, I can give the question bank, which I did for first module as well. Right? I hope there is no issue on that.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, fine. Yes. All right. Then let's continue. Are you all able to see my screen slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So third module is a little simple because we are again going to look into the concept of SQL. Now SQL, we could not wait till this day. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. We could not wait until this date to start with the lab exercise because lab exercise completely involves with SQL. But when we talk of theory, SQL starts only now. So that's the reason I've already told you all many things about SQL, taking some time in the lab session during the lab sessions itself. I've told you some introductory commands, and from there we have gone ahead with our queries and Excel lab exercise and so on. Now, since we have started doing already, started working on SQL already, you should not be finding it really difficult to, catch up with this concept because we'll be learning again everything from the syntax of create, syntax of insert, all this we'll be learning. So since you already know how to create a table now, it will be really simple. So once again, I'm telling you all, whatever doubts you have, please stop me then and there, unmute yourself and ask questions. If you don't do this, I will not be able to know. This is what I have been telling you all from the beginning, right? And if you put, when I am here in the presentation mode, if you put in the chat box, I will not be able to see immediately. I can only see towards the end of the class, but then we'll be running out of time that time. So I'll not be able to address. You unmute and speak, unmute and stop me. You have full liberty for that. But if you don't do it, then I cannot help you much, right? Okay. So with this, let's begin with SQL. All right. So what are the topics? Are you all able to see the change of slides? Can anyone confirm it to me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. So what are the topics that we are going to cover in this particular module?
Madam, time ಆಯ್ತು ma'am. Second hour.
So second hour is mine only, no?
Check ma'am, time.
I have, yeah, you check, sir. Today is Monday, second hour is mine. I have started my class only now.
Ma'am, second hour DBMS, ma'am.
Yeah, I started now only. What is the confusion here? Every Monday we are having second hour. Anyways. This kind of disturbance is really.
Dakshmani,
Yes,
minus
sir.
second hour, third hour. Third hour, right?
Yes, sir. Maybe third hour. Now I just checked that we have DBMS or
Check
not.
it,
So
check
I'll just... Yes, sir. I saw it. Second hour.
Sir,
we have
it is DBMS only, sir. I've already just started my
Third
class.
hour, right?
You can
Yes,
check
sir,
your
you have
timetable.
third hour,
Please don't
sir.
disturb the class, sir. Please. You can check your timetable. You have a copy with you now. All right. So what are the topics that we are going to cover in this particular module? So we are going to start with SQL data definition and what are the different data types in SQL. We have already, that's why I said we have seen everything already. Almost many of these concepts that we'll be covering here, we have already been started doing it in the lab sessions. So that's why I think you will be finding it a little easy, this particular module, since you already know what is the data types, what are the constraints, all that, right? Anyway, so specifying the constraints, what kind of constraints we can specify in SQL? We have seen just two different types of constraints, that is primary key and foreign key. These two types of constraints we have already seen. So we'll also be seeing a couple of more what other constraints we can probably have and what how we can apply them on the queries, on the tables. That also we'll be seeing. Basic retrieval queries in SQL. How do you retrieve? Right? How can we write some basic queries like select star from all this? We have done some basic queries, how we can write. Then how can we insert? How can we update? How can we delete some statements in SQL? This also we are going to see. Some of the aggregate functions in SQL. This also we have seen very first lab class. I have given you the entire basic commands, SQL commands, and we have started using them also. Count, sum, max, min, all this we are somewhere here and there we are trying to use it in the lab exercise queries as well. So we'll be learning in more detail about that. And then I'll also be touching upon group by and having clause. So this also, again, we have seen it in the lab exercise, but still as a part of your theory syllabus, we'll again be doing this, again take some examples and touch upon them. So these are the concepts that we'll be covering in this particular module. Okay. Right. Let's give you a quick overview of what how SQL came into force and all that. So SQL, as I already told you, was started by IBM. So when they started it, they called it a SQL, SQUEL. That's how it was called, Structured English Query Language. It was not just structured query language, it was structured English query language. That's why it was called as SQL, right? We call it a SQL. So it was developed as part of their IBM project. Later on, they renamed it as SQL. Later on, it was renamed as SQL. Then came across SQL 86, SQL 1, SQL 89. different versions as they came across in different years. They gave the year along with year along with SQL and named it accordingly. So SQL 86 means it came in probably in 86. SQL 89 probably came in 89. Then we had different versions. There are a lot of improvements on the SQL that was developed by IBM. SQL 92. Then came SQL 1999, which was Y2K compliant, or SQL 3 we call it. Then again they called it SQL 2 in 2003 one more. So it's basically what is the SQL? It's actually a database language. So it has DDL, it has DML, it has DQL, it has DCL. So these things we have already seen. So what is, it is basically a database language. It will help you to create your database. It will help you to manipulate or update your database. It can help you to give some commands. Control language means it will help you to grant some permissions, revoke some permissions. And then it is also called as a query language, SQL, DQL, data query language, wherein we can retrieve the results. So these are all important things or the statements that are available in SQL for us to work with the database. Next. So before we get into this data types and all that thing, so what do we call? In case of relational algebra, we called a relation as a table. In SQL, it is called as a table. Both table and relation, both are same. When you talk in terms of relational algebra, you call it as a relation. When you talk in terms of SQL, you call it as a table. So you should be very much clear about the notations. Right? So you have to be clear with the notations. If they ask you in relational algebra, then you cannot you cannot use the term table. All right. So you cannot use the term table in case of SQL. In case of relational algebra, you cannot use the term table in case of. You should not use the table. Use the term table in relational algebra and the term relation in SQL. Okay. So what we are trying to do, you have to tell particularly those terms when you are dealing with this, because as I told you, any query we should be able to write it either in SQL. We should also be able to write it in relational algebra. Okay, the same query can be written in SQL also, should be possible in relational algebra also. So we saw some select, project, union, intersection, how we can write in relational algebra we saw. Same thing we have seen in SQL also. Suppose I have to use intersection in SQL. We have seen it in the last lab session, how we can use minus, how we can use SQL in intersection and all that. Okay. So in case of SQL, we call it as a table. In case of relational algebra, we call it as a relation. Okay. Next we have what? We have what is called as row. Row means tuple. Again, in case of relational algebra, you call it as a tuple. In case of SQL, you call it as a row. All your left-hand side terms are for SQL. All the right-hand side terms, we generally use it for relational algebra. Okay. Then we call it as a column in case of a table. In a table, we have a column. In SQL, we call it as a column. In relational algebra, of course, we call it as a attribute. You can call these columns as attributes here also, no problem. Right? Next. Schema and catalog concepts in SQL. So we have seen what is a schema. Can anyone tell me what is a schema? What do we mean by database schema? What do you mean by database schema?
Description, ma'am.
Yeah, you are going to describe the database in the schema. Database schema means it is going to contain a description of all the tables that you are going to create for that particular database. When I say cricket database, so we have a schema diagram for that entire database, correct? What means we are having the description of all the tables which make up that cricket database. For example, we have match table, we had stadium table, player table, team table. These are all different tables that make up your cricket match application or a cricket match
Ma'am,
database.
our
Yeah.
presentation is not visible, ma'am.
Yes. No?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. I deliberately came there to that screen just to see if somebody is responding. I thought I'll respond. That's all. Yeah. The concept. So the concept of schema is really, I hope it's clear to you. A schema is always identified. How do you identify a schema? Schema will always have a name. It will also have an authorization identifier. We don't go into those details now because it is someone who is going to own that schema, generally the database admin. Okay. It includes a descriptor for each element in the schema. So when I say schema, we are talking of schema with respect to the entire database, right? So schema elements, what are the elements of schema? Schema elements will include tables. So you have, as I told you, cricket is a database. What are the tables that form your cricket database? Match, player, team, stadium. All these are tables which are forming your collection of all these tables is nothing but your cricket database. Then we have constraints. So constraints means we have primary key constraint, we have foreign key constraints. Like that, you will have different types of constraints. Then we'll also have views, we'll also have domains and other constructs also. Like authorization grant, somebody, some permission can be granted, something can be revoked. These are all done by the admin. We generally don't do it. Views and view, we'll come to view later on. Domains, as I said, any possible permittable values to every attribute. So that is also part of your schema. See here, elements of schema can be defined at the time of creation of schema. So you try to create a schema, that time you try to define what are all is there in that schema. We don't do this for the entire database. We are not actually creating any schema. See, the syntax for creation of schema is also the same only. It specifies a new database in that in the system. Create schema, schema name. So schema name is company. Authorization Kumar. That's why I said authorization means there is always a owner. Generally, the database admin or somebody like that. SQL2 uses a concept of catalog also. I'll come to that. So schema is, you create a schema which will contain all these things, tables, views, domains, constraints, all this it will contain. But when we do our lab program, we are not creating any schema. I mean, we continue to do that. All users are not authorized to create any schema, right? It's a privileged instruction to create a schema. Is generally granted by DBA to do that. To relevant users only. All of us cannot create. Next, what is a catalog? We again don't use any catalog. We are not creating any catalog. But some versions of SQL will support catalog. See this SQL2. It uses the concept of catalog. Catalog means what? Collection of schemas is called as a catalog. Okay. So it also contains a special schema called as information schema, which provides information on all the schemas in the catalog. We don't do this because again, we are not authorized to do this. Now, from here, yes, we have done everything and it will be easy for us to follow. Create table command in SQL. Well, I don't have to tell much because all of us know how we are going to create or how can a table be created. So create table command, it is used to specify, using this command, we are going to create the table. We give the name of the table, we give some, specify what are the attributes, we specify what are the data types of those attributes, we specify what are the constraints, we specify the domain. So all this we do. That's what is given here. Attributes are specified by giving their name, their data types, constraints, like not, null, check. All these things we'll be seeing now. What are this not, null, check, constraints and all that we'll be seeing. Yeah. Then we have entity integrity, key integrity. That is your primary key. Referential integrity is nothing but the foreign key. These constraints are also specified within the create table. So we have done this. When we say create table match, right, and then we specify the attribute match ID varchar 2 of 3, then we specify there itself that it should be a primary key. That is what is given here. Can be specified within the create table command after the declaration of attributes, or you can even add it later using the alter command. Both the cases we have seen. I have also shown you how you can add or how you can make one of the column as a primary key after the insertion is over using the alter command. The first few classes, lab classes, we have done all these basic commands. Okay, you have any doubts till this point? At this point of time, let me stop for a moment. Any doubts at this point of time? Any questions? Anyone? No doubts?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. Right. So let's go into the details of creation of a table. So SQL relation is defined using create table command. We all know that. Right. So create table, table name. R is nothing but your table name here. Name of the relation or name of the table. A1, D1 means what? First attribute, data type of the first attribute. Then comma, second attribute, data type of the second attribute. AN, DN, last attribute, data type of the last attribute. Then integrity constraint. Suppose I want to specify some primary key, I want to specify foreign key. All that I can specify towards the end, or what we did was we gave it immediately after the attribute itself, right? But you can give it at the end also, no problem. I will show you the other syntax also here, where we give it at the end. Okay, so R is the name of the relation. Okay, all this is fine. Each IAI is an attribute name. DI is the data type. So we used to say create table, something like student, then USN, varchar 2 of name, varchar 2 of 2, something like that. No? This is what is. Yeah, this is our example company database of example that we are going to consider for all this concepts that we are going to discuss here. I'm taking this table because in the syllabus they have taken this company database as the example, so that when you go back to your notes or textbooks, if you are referring, you should know why they have given. That's the reason I'm taking this example. Otherwise, of course, lab exercise is a very good other examples that we have already. Yeah. So here in these are all this whole thing is what? It's a schema diagram of the company database. So this schema contains employee table, it contains department table, it contains department locations, project, works on, dependent. So these are all the tables that are there in this particular company database. This whole thing you call it as a schema diagram. Similar to this, even we have drawn schema diagram in our lab exercise. Schema of all the tables, and then we try to connect how they are related, right? We have done this. Okay. So first table is what? Employee. So let us see how they have created that. Create table employee. So create table, table name, right? Look here, I want to explain a certain few things here. We have taken F name, L name, and middle initial. Okay. Now, we used to see this name as a composite attribute in the ER diagram, if you remember. Name was a composite attribute. Components of name were F name, L name, and middle initial, right? Now, we are interested in storing the first name, storing the last name, storing the middle initial of the employee. That is why what we have done, look at the schema. We have taken 3 separate columns for specifying the name. If you are not interested in F name separately, all these 3 separately, then simply I can give it as name. If I want to store the first name, I want to store the middle name, I want to store the last name, then I have to make 3 different columns. This is how we try to store the composite attribute, or this is how we try to show it in the table. Even in the steps of 7 steps algorithm, I told about this. Whenever you have composite attribute, either store the composite attribute as a whole, that is name. In that case, when you will do that, when you are not interested in the individual component information, I'm not interested to know what is first name, last name, middle initial. Whole name as a whole, I'm okay with that. So in that case, you store it as a name. If you are interested in the storing the first name, last, no, I want to sort employees based on first name. I want to sort employees based on last name. Something like that. If you have some in the application, if you have some requirement like that, then you have to store them separately. In that case, name as an attribute will not appear in the table. Okay. See, that is what we have done. Whatever is your schema should be same as your table, or your table should represent or reflect this particular schema. You cannot show name here and then take 3 columns there. That will be wrong. Or show 3 columns here and then take a column as name there. That is also wrong. Whatever you have shown here, you have to show there also. Right? So create table employee. So first we have taken F name. Observe here. Let me finish this. Varchar, here we have just shown it as varchar because it depends on your different versions of SQL. Okay, so let us stick to varchar 2 only. Don't get confused with this. Varchar is also a data type, but sometimes varchar will not be supported. Further versions of SQL supported varchar 2, so we are continuing with varchar 2. You can take varchar 2 is also fine. Let's not get confused. We'll stick to one, varchar 2. Okay, now create table employee F name varchar not null. This is a constraint you have to pay attention here. Not null means what? See, generally, which are the when do you get this not null constraint? When you declare something as a primary key. When you declare something as a primary key, by default it will take it as not null. That means null values are not allowed. But I have already told you previously, but not shown how it can be done. Suppose I don't want the employee names to be null. Employee names should never be left null. Then how I can put a constraint on that? This is how I tried to write it. F name varchar 2 of 15, let us say, not null. Not null is a constraint applied for this first name. Means what happens? I cannot, F name is not my primary key. But still, I don't want my first name to be null. So then how can I do that? I can do that by varchar 2 of 15 not null. Not null means first name cannot be null. I cannot leave this attribute null. Some value I have to fill in. Okay. Now here you see middle initial character. Character means only one character it will take. I have not put anything in bracket. We have not mentioned anything like this. Is it not? So it is going to take only one character. And I have not specified not null and all for this middle initial. That means middle initial can be null. I may not have a middle initial at all. Then what to do? So I can leave it null. Again. Right? Again coming to last name. See here. Varchar 2 of 15 not null. Again my last name cannot be null. I don't want my last name to be null. So then I give it. Then SSN character of 9, birthday, date, address, varchar 2 of 15. Super SSN is a foreign key there. D number is foreign key. Again see here. Here it is again not null. Then after this what we are doing? We are saying primary key of SSN. This is what I said. See here. Here. We have defined it in the end here. Whatever are the constraints, we have put it in the end. You can put it in the end, or we can do the way we are doing in our lab. What we did in the lab, we said SSN, here we used to give SSN character of 9 primary key. Like that also you can give, or you define all the attributes first and then include all the constraints in the end. You can do whichever way you want, but let us stick to what we are doing in lab. Let's not get confused with everything, this way also, that way also. Let's know one way, let us stick to it, right? So here see what we are doing. We are giving primary key of SSN. We have already defined SSN. Now we are defining a constraint on that. Similarly here, we have already defined super SSN. How we used to define it otherwise? We used to say super SSN, character of 9, references EMP of EMP of SSN. Like that we used to give, is it not? We can give like that, or we can use this word called as foreign key. foreign key of super SSN. That means this super SSN is going to act as a foreign key. References what? It references employee of SSN. All this is extra typing, is it not? So what we had done, super SSN, character of 9, references employee of SSN, over. Here we have to give references of employee of SSN also. We have to specify foreign key also. That's not required. Anyway, this syntax is not wrong. Okay. Again here, D number we have already defined. We have already defined it. But here we are saying that D number is a foreign key. Once you mention it's a foreign key, you have to give references. Which one it is referencing? It is referencing department of D number. Am I clear? Any doubts in this? So what are the new constraints that we learned here? One is not null. Any attribute can be given a not null constraint. If you declare an attribute as a primary key, by default it will take it as not null only. Okay, by default it will take it as not null. But apart from that, you want to make any other attribute, you want a particular attribute not to accept any null value, then I can give it as not null. All right. So that is what we have. Any doubts in this before we proceed further? And one more thing that is not null is one new thing that we learned here. Another thing that we saw is you can first define all the attributes, and towards the end of this, before you complete your create statement, you can specify your constraints. Primary key of SSN, foreign key of super SSN, references, employee of SSN, you can write like this. Of course, we had written it in a different way. As I told you, let us stick to that way only. Any questions up to this point so far? Any doubts in this till here?
Ma'am, which they have written, we are writing the not null. It has to be written in capital letters, ma'am.
Not required. You can write it in small. No problem. Here, whole thing is written in capitals only, but we are anyway writing it in small, so you can write it as small. No problem. No need to write in caps. Any other questions? Any doubts? Anyone here? Shall we proceed? No doubts?
Yes, ma'am. Proceed.
Yeah. All right. Next we are creating a table department. I'm sorry, there is a spelling mistake in department. Right. Okay, so create table department, dname varchar of 15, not null. See here, again we have made use of the constraint called as not null. That means I don't want the department name is not a primary key. So it can take null values. It can take duplicate values. But duplicate is allowed here, but I am not allowing null value. I don't want the department name column to take any null value. So I will write it like that. Similarly, D number, one more thing you should observe here. D number, we have said int not null. Here also we have made it as a primary key D number. The moment you make it primary key, it is not necessary for you to write this not null. It is not required actually. Okay. So when you say primary key, by default not null and uniqueness constraint will be applied to that particular variable. But when you are trying to declare here, then why they have given it here means when you try to declare, when you start declaring, probably you may not have decided which one to make it as a primary key. So you would have made it anyway not null, and then going ahead you would have made it D number also. So either you can, whatever is a primary key, you don't have to actually give one more not null constraint explicitly. It's not required. Okay. Then MGR SSN also, I don't want this to be this to accept accept null value. So I have given a not null constraint. Then manager start date is of the attribute date. So these are my attributes in the department table. Followed by which I have given the constraints here. What are the constraints I have given? Look here. Primary key of D number. That's fine. There is a new constraint here. See, unique of D name. Unique of D name means I don't want the department name to be repeated. All the department names should be unique. I don't want duplicates. It's not a primary key. If it was a primary key, by default, it will not allow duplicates. Correct? But I want D name also not to allow duplicates. How can I give? I can give it as unique. Now, instead of this, if we are doing the way we are declaring, we can write it as here itself, you can write. D name, varchar 2 of 15, not null, comma, unique. You can give like that also. No problem. It will still take. Then, MGR SSN is a foreign key. So, see here, we have given foreign key of MGR SSN, references employee of SSN. Right? So, that's how you create this table. So, what new things we learned here? Unique. You can make a particular column to accept or to not to allow duplicate values. How do I not allow duplicate values? By giving unique. How do I not allow null values? By giving not null. These two, unique and not null, is not required for the attribute which you are declaring as primary key. Because any attribute declared as primary key will automatically apply the not null and uniqueness constraint. Okay. Right. Next is locations is a table. Okay. Now this D location, department location, if you remember, department location was what kind of an attribute? Anyone?
Composite attribute.
Composite.
No, it was not composite. Yes.
Multi-valued attribute.
Multi-valued, yes. Multi-valued attribute. Locations, department location was a multi-valued attribute. So if it's a multi-valued attribute, how should you take it? You have to take it as a separate, create a new table for the multi-valued attribute. So that is what we have done here. Create table locations. So D number is not null here because that's a primary key which will act as a foreign key here. Then we have put the D location not null again. Not null means you should not accept any null value. This is another variable which is there as part of this table. And then what is the primary key? Observe here. The multi-valued attribute plus the primary key of this table together forms the primary key for this location. Right? And this D number acts as a foreign key as well here because it references department. Why I make this mistake? All right. So that's how whenever you have a multi-valued attribute, you have to create a new table for that attribute along with the primary key of that attribute. Same thing what we did for player phone in the cricket application. So player's phone number was a multi-valued attribute. So we pushed that phone number as a into a new table along with the primary key of player, that is player ID. Same thing is done here also. Okay. Next is project table. So project again, we have P name, varchar 2 of 15, which is again not null. P number also is integer type, not null again, right? P location is also not null. D number int not null. So what is the primary key here? Primary key P number is primary key. I want the project name to be unique. Project name is not a primary key. So, but still I don't want duplicate names for project name. I don't want any null values for project name. So I have given both not null as well as unique constraints separately for P name. Right? Then what is a foreign key here? Dnum is a foreign key, references department of D number. Right, that is your project table. Next we'll see works on. So here again, works on में ESSN character of 9 not null. P number is an integer variable not null. Hours, see this decimal 3,1. That means after the decimal point it will take 1. 2. Totally you have 3. In that 3, 1 will come after the decimal point. So 2 digits in the integer part and 1 digit in the decimal part. Again it is not null. D number is not null again. What is the primary key? ESSN and project number together forms the primary key here. Because works on, if you remember, is a relationship. Whenever you are creating a table for a relationship, in the last class we have seen 7-step algorithm. Works on is a relationship. It's a many-to-many relation. Many employees can work on many projects. So how do you convert this into table? We'll create a new table for the relationship itself. So we have created it. So works on is a relationship. Here we have created a table for that. What will be the primary key? You have to include in this relationship the primary key of both the entities which are participating in this relationship. Which are the entities which are participating? Employee and project. So we have included the primary number of employee and project. Let me show that to you. Yeah, see here. Okay, ER diagram, I don't have it here right now. Works on is a relationship it is. If you remember the ER diagram, it is works on is a relationship. Okay, so when we are, and it is a many-to-many relationship. When you have a many-to-many relationship, you can create a table for that relationship itself. And what it should contain? It should contain the primary key of both the entities which are participating in that relationship. That's why we have included ESSN, we have included project. That's what we have done here. So primary key is combination of these two keys form the primary key of that particular table. Foreign key ESSN, for ESSN is a foreign key here. So it references employee of SSN. P number is also foreign key, references project of P number. Right. Next, dependent. So dependent was a weak entity, if you remember, right? So we have taken ESSN, which will form a, which will be a foreign key here. So look at here, we have made it as a foreign key, it references employee. Then dependent name, I have given it as not null. I don't want the dependent name to be null. Gender as a character again, birthday, date, address, relationship we have taken. What is the primary key? Primary key of the owner entity, that is ESSN, plus the partial key of the weak entity. Partial key is your dependent table. So here we have made this combination of this as your primary key of the dependent table. Any doubt so far? This is about creation of all the tables that we saw in the schema diagram. As I told you, we give all the set of all the attributes and then give the set of constraints. This is one way of doing. The second way is what we have done in the lab already. Declare each variable, whatever constraints you want to give for that, give it immediately followed by that particular variable. SSN primary key, that's all. SSN varchar 2 of 10 primary key. We give it there itself. Or you give it in the end primary key of SSN. Both are right. Any questions still here? So far, any doubts, anyone? Let me take a moment. Stand. Okay. All right. If there are no questions, let me proceed. Okay. If you are creating a schema, you can always refer to that like this. Create table company.employee. So here schema is the company, employee is the table name. Within that company ka schema, you have employee as a table. Because employee can have the same table name, can be there in a different schema. Suppose I have BMSIT is a schema, let us say, or college is a schema. In that college also, I may have employee as a table. So then SQL will get confused as to which employee I have to refer to. Whether I should refer to employee of company or should I refer to employee of college. So that's why you can always create table company.employee, which means it's very clear that in the company database you are creating a employee table. We don't do this because, as I said, schema creation is a privileged instruction. Okay. Right. Let's move on. Coming to the data types and domains in SQL. Look at the number of data types that are there. We have numeric, character, bit string, boolean, date, time, timestamp, and interval. Right? So these are the different data types. Let us look at each one of them. You can say numeric, we can say integer also, no problem. See, under numeric, we had told the number as our numeric in SQL, is it not? As I told you, different versions of SQL will have different data type, will support different data types, but the meaning is all the same only. We are giving it as number, but here they are giving it as integer. You can give small int, real, all this we can give. So numeric means what? You can specify the numerical variables, obviously. So that's one of the data types. So under numeric, you can have all these different types. Either you can have integer or int. Integer is our number. We are giving number, right? It is same as integer without any decimal part. Okay. Small int, again, we have small int in C++ also. You would have come across small int. So small integer without any decimal part. Real, double precision. So any floating point number you can always represent. I think for can you recollect for which variable we had declared something like this, float or double? Can you recollect? Anyone?
For salary.
No. Salary, we took it as number. We had in the second lab exercise, we had GPA. Remember that? For GPA, we had created, we have given the data type as float. Float 2, 2, 4, 2, something like that we have given. 4, 2 means totally there will be four places. 2 will be after the decimal, 2 is for the integer part. We have given for GPA, we have declared it as float. So float, double, real, all this you can give. So these are the different data types which comes under the numeric part. This one also total, see here I, j. If you give something like that, I means it indicates the total number of digits. J is always to the right of the decimal point. That's what I told you now. Float of 4, 2 means 4 is the total number of digits. 4, 2 means 2 will be after the decimal point. Next, character. As I told, varchar, we are using varchar 2. Okay, you can have, if you want to specify characters, you can also have character. So it conserves sequence of character either of fixed length or varying length. Default length of character string is 1. So char you can give, or you can give it full A as character. It always represents the fixed length character. Variable length character, we give it as varchar 2. You also have something called CLOB, that is character large object. For large documents, if you want to attach also, you can make use of CLOB. That is also one data type. Bit string is, yes, tell me.
Ma'am, why don't we use char instead of varchar?
Char is fixed length. Whereas varchar is, you can vary the length. Means you can give for varchar 2 of 10. If I give, I can have for one, if I say name varchar 2 of 10, then what does that mean? All names will not be of 10 characters, is it not?
Okay.
Yeah, it is varying. Some names will be only 4 characters, some names will be 5, some name will be 10. Maximum is 10, but here it is fixed length.
Ma'am, which means that if we use char means we have to give our input exactly as that much size.
No, it is not necessary. If you give a smaller character also, it will be padded with some blank spaces.
Okay.
When you give some, see here also I have mentioned that. A shorter string is always padded with blank spaces. You can give shorter string.
Okay.
Yeah, but then when you have varchar2, it is not going to be padded with some blank spaces and all. Right? So this will be ignored at the time of comparison, and you do a lexicographical order. It means you are trying to do an alphabetical comparison. Yeah, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Next is bit string. It consists of sequence of bits, either fixed length or varying length. Again, default length of bit string is 1. Again, you can make use of, like similar to CLOB. We also have one more data type called as BLOB. Okay, this is available to specify columns that are large binary values, such as images, videos, something like this. You can always pass. If you generally we don't use that, but some applications, maybe some important applications, complicated applications, we can make use of BLOB and all that. It is used in not in our at our scale, but at a larger scale, yes, definitely. Yeah. So then you can also make use of Boolean. Boolean has 3 values: true, false, and unknown. Unknown is for null value. Date it has 10 positions in the form of YY, D, MM, DD. These are the components for year, month, and day. Okay, that is for date. Also, you can specify time. Time has at least 8 positions: HH, MM, and SS. Hour, minute, and second. Again, here different formats will be there as per the versions of SQL. You have different formats for specifying the date. It may have 10 positions only, but there may be several formats in specifying the date. So generally, to avoid this confusion, I generally take date as varchar2, so that you can write the date in whatever way you want, right? Next is timestamp. What do you mean by timestamp? You do any transactions, you would have, all of you would have observed in the receipt that you get, you also get the date and the time at which you have done that particular purchase or done that particular payment, done that particular transaction, correct? That is what you call it as timestamp. So timestamp, it includes both date as well as time. See, plus it also requires a minimum of 6 positions it has for decimal fractions of seconds and an optional with the time zone qualifier. Right? With the time zone means, suppose you are, if you include with the time zone means, let us say from the GMT you are moving so many hours this way or that way, east or west. So in that case, you have to specify how many hours you are moving away, right? That is what is your, for example, Japan, if you take, they are ahead of us. Australia, if you take, they are ahead of us. How much they are ahead of us, that if you want to specify, you can make use of with the time zone. You don't want to specify that, then don't include with the time zone. If it is not included, default is a local time for that. Wherever that SQL session is running, local time, whatever is there, it will take it. So that is your timestamp. So timestamp is, which includes both your date as well as time. For many of the most all the transactions make use of this timestamp. Next we have interval. Interval is also one of the data type. It specifies an interval, like you want to specify with respect to the calendar dates. You want to specify some, interval, some kind of break you want to specify. Then you can use this to increment or decrement the value with respect to date or time or timestamp. Intervals are qualified to be either year or month or day-time intervals. It can be positive or negative. That's what. You can go behind or you can move forward, right? Okay. So these are the different data types with respect to SQL. Any doubts so far? Any clarifications? They may ask you what are the different data types in SQL. So you can mention all this, and it's a very simple question which you can easily score. So we have seen with respect to creation, how do we create and what are not null constraints. We saw what are unique constraints, and how we can give the constraints even towards the end also. That is also not an issue. That is what we saw in creation of table. Then we saw if a schema is containing many tables, how we can access it using the dot operator, company.employee, something like that we can say, because employee as a table can be present in any of the schema, right? So to avoid any ambiguity for SQL, we can try to give the dot operator. Right, then we saw what are the different data types. Next we move on to what are domains. Right, so we can always create a domain. It can be used with several attributes. What is a domain? Any set of permissible values, I said, that is called as a domain. So what you are doing here, you are creating the domain. You can also create, you can also declare it along with the attributes. Both is allowed. Create domain enumber type as character of 9. That means you are creating a domain of name. What is the name of the domain is enumber type as what? As containing 9 characters. Right, now this enumber type can be used in place of character 9 with SSN, ESSN, MGR SSN. That means instead of specifying SSN character of 9, again ESSN character of 9, MGR SSN character of 9, all that you don't have to specify again and again. Instead of that, I can simply declare ESSN, I can simply declare SSN and then specify E number type, because we have already defined this E number type as character of 9. Okay, that is what we mean by saying creating a domain. Varchar 2 of 10, let us say. So this varchar 2 of 10 I'm using for so many things. Or let us say for all IDs, most probably in our lab exercise, for all primary key ID, we have used varchar 2 of 3, something like that, right? So every time I have tried varchar 2 of 3, varchar 2 of 3. Instead of doing that, I can simply create a domain, create domain ID as varchar 2 of 3. So when I do that, next when I say create, when I create match ID, I can simply write match ID. ID is enough. Suppose because I've already created domain ID number as varchar 2 of 3. So match ID number, stadium ID number, what is that? Player ID number. I can simply give it as ID number because ID number is already defined as what? Varchar 2 of 3. That is nothing but your domain. Did you get this concept? What I'm trying to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Every time you need not go on specifying varchar 2 of 3, varchar 2 of 3. Wherever you want to specify varchar 2 of 3, declare once and use it. That is nothing but your creation of domain. So if you want to make varchar 2 of 3 as 4, you can simply change it in the domain. That is enough. You don't have to change every place. Varchar 2 of 4, 4, 4, go on changing. What will happen? Somewhere you will change, somewhere you may not change. There can be some inconsistencies, right? So that is what is domain. Next is specifying the basic constraints. So we'll be moving on to the constraints, different types of constraints, primary key, foreign key, attributes default, attribute constraints, right? So this I will try to do it in the next class. All right. Any doubts, any questions so far in what we have seen? We have seen very simple things today, creation and data types, and how we can have a domain instead of data type for every attribute. Next class, we'll be seeing constraints. Page 21. What's your attendance, Anaka?
Yes, ma'am.
Abhilash?
Yes, ma'am.
Akhil? Akrut?
Yes, ma'am.
Anusha?
Yes, ma'am.
Aravind?
Present, ma'am.
Arifullah?
Yes, ma'am.
Janaka,
Present, ma'am.
Vanu,
Yes, ma'am.
Bhargav,
Yes, ma'am.
Rantula, Chaitra,
Present, ma'am.
Chandana,
Present, ma'am.
Charan,
Yes, ma'am.
Darshan, Diksha,
Yes, ma'am.
Dakshayani,
Present, ma'am.
Ishan,
Present, ma'am.
Harshit,
Present, ma'am.
Hema,
Present, ma'am.
Uma,
Present, ma'am.
Jayant,
Present, ma'am.
Divya,
Yes, ma'am.
Kaushik,
Present, ma'am.
Lakshmi Lavanya,
Present,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Manish,
Present, ma'am.
Manoj,
Present, ma'am.
Mohit,
Yes, ma'am.
Naval,
Present, ma'am.
Navya,
Present, ma'am.
Nikhil, Manindra,
Present, ma'am.
Pavan,
Yes, ma'am.
Pooja,
Present, ma'am.
Purnima,
Present, ma'am.
Aman,
Yes, ma'am.
Rashmi,
Yes, ma'am.
Rupak,
Yes, ma'am.
Sai Kumar,
Ma'am is present, ma'am. But
Samir,
present, ma'am.
Santosh, Chadar,
Present, ma'am.
Charan, Shashank,
Present, ma'am.
Sheetal,
Present, ma'am.
Shivani,
Present, ma'am.
Soumya. Soumya is absent. Spurti,
Present, ma'am.
Vishnu,
Present, ma'am.
Sugandhini,
Present, ma'am.
Sushma,
Present, ma'am.
Sushmita,
Present, ma'am.
Sushmita U,
Present, ma'am.
Tirtha, Tripti,
Present, ma'am.
Vashavina.
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am, Rahul.
16 present.
So much of noise.
Ma'am, Sharon. Present, ma'am.
Nikhil, I'm present, ma'am.
Nikhil is present. Okay. Who is absent? Soumya is absent. Is she there? Soumya, she is not here. I have marked her absent. Rest are all present. Okay. Right then. We'll see in the next class. Thank you.
Thank you.